Welcome everyone, my name is Joelle and today we have a yoga practice that is focused on fixing APT, anterior pelvic tilt. So when there's a little bit of an exaggerated arch in the lower spine, which so many of us live with. Please have one yoga block handy for today's practice. If you don't have a block, you can also grab a book. And we'll start right away coming to hands and knees with the block between the hands on its lowest level. And then once you've arrived, you can lower down onto the forearms and place the forehead directly onto the block. So settling in here for a moment, you might like to shake the hips a little bit side to side. Notice how you're feeling, particularly in the lower back. And we'll take some little tucks of the pelvis just to start waking that area up. So on your next exhale, squeeze the glutes. Pull the lower abs in and tuck that tailbone under, flattening through the lower back. And then inhale to release without overarching. So we'll take a few more, exhaling to squeeze everything and tuck under. And inhale to let it go and keep going. If on every exhale you can tuck just that little bit further than last time, making the lower back as flat as possible. Wherever you are, let's take 3 more. And last one. Great, and then finishing that up, we'll lift back up onto hands and knees. Let's just take a few more tucks in a slightly different position now. So again, tucking under on your exhale. And releasing on the inhale, engaging the glutes and the abs. And just one more here. Wonderful. And we're going to stay exactly as we are. Just turn the block to its tallest height here. Replant the hands underneath the shoulders. Tuck the tailbone under, so exactly like what we've just been doing, everything squeezed. And then bend the arms, just little push-up, just to tap the forehead against the block. So keeping that posterior pelvic tilt the entire time, tailbone under. If you're engaging through everything and doing this correctly, keeping everything squeezed, then these will, chances are, actually be quite challenging. Let's try 2 more. And last one. Really nice. You can release everything, shake that off a little bit. Last little thing we're going to do with the block is take it and place it on its lowest level directly beneath the right knee. So we're still on hands and knees, but at a little bit of a funny angle now. And we're just going to lift and lower that left knee a few times. So exhaling to lift, inhale to lower, and you can still think about the shape, the position of the pelvis, still keeping a little bit of engagement in the lower abs as well. This is just a nice way to reset, kind of teach the body in different shapes what things should look like. And last one here. Really nice. And then we'll just transition that block over, place it underneath the left knee now, and we'll see if one side is a little bit stronger than the other as we start to lift and lower that right knee. And of course, anterior pelvic tilt or lumbar lordosis. All these conditions quite common, many of us living with a bit too pronounced of an arch in the lower spine, particularly if you spend a lot of time sitting. So good for you turning up today. Let's just take one more on this side. Great, and then you can come down off of the block, set it off to the side for now, sit back on the heels and just take a few circles in one direction with the hips just to let that go. Coming back to your breath. A couple circles in the other direction. Great. Now we'll come to a boxy lunge, so kind of a shorter lunge than what we might be used to in yoga, about a right angle with both knees. And just start by coming to the lunge and notice what that does to your lower spine. So again, chances are we may have a little bit of a curvature here. So by squeezing through these back glutes, really engaging everything, see if you can come into, again, more of a flatter angle in the front and more importantly, in the back of the body. You can even place one hand here just to notice what that does to the spine, whether we are kind of neutral, released, or squeezed under. And chances are this is going to start opening up through the left hip flexors, so keep that squeeze, keep that engagement. This is exactly what we want. And then inhale the left arm up towards the ceiling, and on your next exhale, lean towards the right. So a little bit of a balance challenge here. We can inhale our way back up, and then exhale it over. And just keep going again, just finding a little flow here. Tailbone stays tucked under the entire time. Lower back as flat as possible. 2 more. And last time. And then very gently bringing your hands back to the mat so that we can sit back towards the heels, big toes together, knees out wide for child's pose, crawling the hands forwards. Maybe closing the eyes here for a few deep breaths. Notice if perhaps there's a different sensation in one side of the body or the other. And we'll look to even things out by straightening back up. We'll come to a low lunge now with the left foot forward. So again, finding our right angles more or less. Just come into it. Notice what's happening with the lower spine and then really squeeze and engage. Lengthen out through the back body and also through the front of that right hip flexor. Inhaling the right arm up towards the sky, left hand can stay at your hip. And exhaling to bend over towards the left. And again, finding that flow on your inhale and exhale, really lengthening the side body with each reach, finding a little more space each time. And 2 more on this second side. And then coming out of that one, we'll take another child's pose just for a few breaths. You can maybe keep the knees together this time as we round through the entire spine. Arms alongside the body, curling up into a little ball. And breathing here. One more deep breath here. And then very slowly uncurling yourself up to a tall seat, and we're just going to come to lie on our backs now, keeping your block nearby. So beginning by settling the low spine into the mat, both feet flat. We'll take a few more tilts here, just like we did in the beginning. So squeeze to tuck under, maybe even lifting the glutes slightly off the mat. And release to neutral. And keep going. So it's always a nice idea to challenge the body in different positions, just like we're doing today, so that no matter what position you are in, the body starts to kind of understand over time where it's supposed to be, where it is most efficient, where it is strongest. 2 more little tilts right here. Really nice. And then let's take just one higher bridge. So again, squeezing everything just like we've been doing, lifting the glutes, peeling the lower spine off of the mat, keeping that posterior tuck as you raise the hips up high. One long line from the knees to the shoulders. Everything stays engaged for one more breath. And then exhale as you slowly lower down 1 vertebrae at a time, keeping the tailbone tucked under as long as possible. All the way down. And release. And then taking hold of that block, settle it underneath the lowest part of the spine, so pretty much right underneath the sacrum. And we'll start to pull the right knee in towards the chest. Sort of a variation of half-wind pose. You could stay here. You might start to kick that left heel away from you as you lengthen the left leg. Again, just bringing a little bit of stability and mindfulness to that lower back. And opening up through reverse side, so the hip flexors in this case. Deep release here. And then simply switching sides. Right foot can stay planted or lengthen far away from you as you pull the left knee in towards the heart. Final breath here. Slow and steady in and out. And then let's just extend both legs just for a moment here. Arms alongside the body. Let everything release, so not holding on to any tension, not gripping. Minimal effort here, letting yourself be supported by the mat and the block. And we'll replant both feet. Lift the hips up just enough to slide that block from underneath you. We'll make use of it one more time here. So pressing the block between the right knee and the left elbow. And again, pressing that lower back into the mat. And this might be enough for some of us as you work to compress that block between the elbow and the knee. Or if you'd like a little bit more, you can join in. We're going to extend the right arm and left leg, and then exhale to bring them in to kiss that block. So inhaling to lengthen, exhaling to tap in. Just 3 more on this side. Lower back stays pressed against the floor. And last one. These are tough. And really nice. And let yourself just come back down. Maybe even take a couple of windshield wipers if you'd like. Rocking the knees out from side to side. And once you're ready, we'll bring the block this time between the left knee and right elbow. Again, compressing everything, keeping the lower abs engaged as you let every vertebrae in the lower spine find the mat. And you could once again choose to stay here for today, or join us as we inhale to extend, exhale to pull it all in. 4 more. Last 2. Stay with it. And finishing out your last squeeze. And release. Place that block off to the side. We won't be needing it anymore. Let the feet come to the outer edges of the mat and the knees fall in together. Just for a moment. We'll come back into those windshield wipers, keeping the feet a little bit further apart, knees falling left and right. And the next time they're over to the left, you can hold them here. If you'd like to add on, you can also place that left foot on top of the right knee, perhaps just intensifying the stretch on the right side. Close the eyes. Appreciate what the body is able to do. The work of the lower back, supporting the upper body each and every day. And we'll switch sides, letting both knees come over towards the right, perhaps adding on with that foot weighing down the left knee. And the gaze can stay towards the ceiling, so you're also welcome to look over your left shoulder if you'd like a little bit more of a twisting sensation today. And final breath here. And then replanting both feet to the mat. Hug the knees in one at a time, full wind pose. Again, making yourself into a little ball, rocking side to side a little bit, massaging the lower back. And when you're ready, we can roll ourselves back up to any seated position that you would like. And all together, let's inhale the arms up to the sky and exhale them down in front of the heart. And thank you so much for joining me today. If you'd like to spend a little bit more time and attention on your lower back, I do have a 3-day yoga challenge that is completely free and exclusively focused on that part of the body. So you can join in by clicking either something floating around here next to my head or the first link in the description box below. Thank you so much, and I hope to practice with you again very soon.